Hey there, health lovers. Welcome to The Scoop, where we serve you straight nutrition talk, one scoop at a time. I'm Rachel. I'm a dietitian. I'm a wife. I'm a mom of two busy boys, and I am a big fan of making small, healthy changes that can lead to big results. So grab your coffee, your water bottle, or even your afternoon snack and settle in. We're about to dive into today's scoop. And trust me, these simple tips are going to make healthy living feel a whole lot easier. Let's get started. Any and all opinions and views shared by hosts and guests on this podcast are the speaker's own and do not represent the views of Live It Up or its affiliates or parent company. Hey everyone, welcome back to The Scoop, serving you straight nutrition talk, one scoop at a time. Today's topic is caffeine. I never knew really how controversial caffeine was as a topic until recently. So let's talk about the benefits, the drawbacks, and how much you really should be having. The first thing I'm going to start with is caffeine is a drug. In fact, caffeine is considered the most widely used, socially acceptable drug in the world. It's a naturally occurring psychoactive stimulant, which, as you very likely know, since about 85% of adults in the US use it, works on the central nervous system to help alleviate fatigue and drowsiness. Most people get their fix of caffeine from coffee, but it can also be found naturally in some teas, in cocoa, and guarana, and cola nuts. Yes, cola nuts are where Coca-Cola gets their caffeine from. Caffeine is also added to a lot of food products, such as sodas, energy drinks, ice creams, chewing gums, energy bars, and supplements. But it should be noted that it's usually synthetic caffeine made in labs that are often the ones added to energy products and processed foods. Caffeine, just like any other drug, can build up. You can build up a tolerance to caffeine, which means that you may need more and more of it to get the same anti-fatigue effects. This also means that for some people, they can experience withdrawal symptoms when they cut it out. So caffeine gets absorbed within about 45 minutes. Depending on whether you've had it with a meal or alone. It then peaks in the blood anywhere between 15 minutes and a couple hours later. It actually absorbs both into the body's water and fat molecules, which I think is fascinating. And this is why it's able to cross the blood-brain barrier. The brain is normally really strict about what gets in it. But because caffeine gets into fat molecules, that's why it's able to get to the brain. And then after it's like run amok all over the body, the liver metabolizes it. Now, the Food and Drug Administration has found that taking in less than 400 milligrams per day is safe for most adults. They actually recommend that children under 12 should not have caffeine. So let's talk about caffeine's benefits, because actually caffeine has a lot of benefits. It's been shown to help with migraines. It's been shown to help improve reaction time and performance during memory tests. Coffee itself contains antioxidants, and studies have actually shown that drinking coffee may lead to a lower risk of all-cause mortality. Caffeine has also been shown to be an ergonomic aid, which means that it can help with athletic performance, especially endurance, but also some anaerobic benefits. But here's a myth. Some people say that caffeine can help with weight loss because it increases your heart rate and therefore your metabolism. This is false. It may help give you more energy, and it could also potentially help to temporarily suppress appetite. A lot of people, they drink coffee and then they say that they're not hungry. This might be a thing, but no studies have actually shown that it will help with long-term weight loss. Now, as with anything, there are drawbacks. So let's talk about some of the negatives of caffeine. So caffeine can actually block the effects of the hormone adenosine, which is the hormone responsible for deep sleep. It can also lower hormones that help with sleep, including serotonin and dopamine. So this is why having caffeine too close to bedtime is usually pretty disruptive to the quality of your sleep. So just have it earlier in the day. In people who are more sensitive to caffeine, having more than 400 milligrams per day, which is about 4 cups of brewed coffee, can cause anxiety, which is compounded by caffeine's ability to speed up your heart rate. And because caffeine causes arteries to constrict, this, paired with a higher heart rate, can cause temporary high blood pressure, which for most people is totally fine. But for some people, if they have certain heart conditions, that's why they're told to sometimes be like conscious of their caffeine intake. And honestly, to get the calorie burn people think caffeine might provide, they need to drink upwards of like 6 cups of coffee per day. So, a recent meta analysis indicated that there may be a dose dependent relationship between caffeine intake and incidence of hip fracture. So, that's something else to be aware of if you're already dealing with poor bone health. But here's a myth. For a while, people thought that coffee was dehydrating because caffeine is a diuretic. However, for caffeine to diurese, which means to make you lose more water, you actually have to drink more than 400 to 500 milligrams per day, which is about 5 cups or 40 ounces. So 5 8-ounce cups or 40 ounces total. So while you will pee a little more in the couple hours after drinking coffee, or taking in a moderate amount of caffeine in another way, overall, it's not going to dehydrate you unless you're really overdoing it. So the bottom line is that moderate amount of caffeine, 300 to 400 milligrams per day, or 3 to 4 cups of coffee, usually poses pretty minimal risks and even might be beneficial. But more than this, you're getting into a higher risk level the more that you have. Now, remember, everyone is different. While 3 to 4 cups for one person might be fine, others may be a lot more sensitive and only can handle 1 to 2 cups. Some people are not that sensitive and can handle much more than 3 or 4 cups. So you really have to listen to your body. It is very individual. Keep this in mind, though. What you add to your coffee or what else comes in your energy drink matters. If you're jacking up your coffee with tons of sugar, syrups, creamers, things like that, you're also jacking up the calories and bringing down the benefits. So keep the high sugar specialty coffees as a treat and mostly focus on having your coffee either black or with a splash of whole milk or cream, sprinkle of real sugar if you want a little sweetness, maybe a plant-based sweetener could be beneficial if you like those. And in this way, you'll let coffee's benefits really shine if that's what you're looking for. Now, if you're getting your caffeine from energy drinks, be sure to look for drinks that have no artificial sweeteners or colors, no more than about 150 milligrams of caffeine per serving, and minimal ingredients, just so that you know you're giving your body what it needs and not too much of stuff that it doesn't need. Okay, let's talk about micro habits. Is there anything you feel would be important or worthwhile to change with your caffeine or coffee habit? Are you within the recommended amount? What are you adding to it? Is your energy drink safe? Write down your goals. If you want to reduce, I highly recommend doing it really slowly, maybe half a cup per week or so, since withdrawal symptoms for some people can be pretty rough, headaches, irritability, things like that. Do you have any questions about caffeine or coffee, or you want to share your goals with me? Let me know.